Hey there everyone, I'm doing that tutorial video I promised you. Today I'm going to talk about the process that I use to produce every comic page. So the process is divided in 4 basic steps: the script, the sketch, the line art, and the painting. So the first step, which is the script, it's self-explanatory. It's about writing the story and planning everything you're gonna do on the next step. I don't like working with blocks of text. I like to work on topics, as if you were just highlighting the most important stuff about each page. And this is how it looks like. This is the basic script for the first page of the 3rd chapter. Each topic has a very simple explanation of what's gonna happen in a specific panel, and the only thing that I actually give some development is the dialogue, which is gonna help me a lot more than just describing the scenarios. I do that, I keep things vague because that gives me space to create while I'm drawing. For example, in the first chapter there, that part where Nidhogg first meets Billy wasn't in the script, wasn't in the story. I added it when I was doing the sketches. But anyway. Alright, so let's talk about the sketches. You will notice that I have this huge panel in the middle of the page. So here I'm gonna give you a brief explanation of how I make the panel structure. If I hide my background, you'll see that this huge panel right here has a stroke on it. And if I cut them, you will see that the stroke is still here. I'll show you how this is done. If you create a new layer and click twice on it, that's gonna be this option, stroke. Select it, and here you will define the thickness of the stroke. For the panels I use 30 pixels, but for the lines of the characters I use 15. Let's put 15. Alright, and I want it to be, and I want the stroke to be black. Let's put red just for you to see. Let's put it red just so you can see the difference. Alright, and there you go. If I try to draw something, let's draw a white ball here. You see that the stroke is following whatever I'm doing. This is great for creating effects such as background sounds or lightning and stuff like that. Also, I use it most for this. Make a small ellipse and wait, and there you go. So I just put the line here, and there you go. I mean, out of proportion, but you get the idea. So as you may have read in the first page script, the story begins with an outside view of the library, and the sun is rising. Now, one thing that I do a lot, and if you pay attention, you realize that happens in pretty much every page, is that I recycle a lot of panels. This panel of the library scene from the outside, it's used 3 or 4 times in the first chapter, and I'm gonna use it again. I'm gonna give it some modifications because right now I realize there are some things that I could have done better, but the structure is the same, and this helps me to do things faster. And I like this. I don't waste time remaking stuff that are already ready. So let's get the script here. So the first panel is a scene from the outside the library. The sun is rising. Then Felix wakes up. He is the only character we can see, and once he turns to his side, he sees Nidhogg on his bed. Alright. So I'm gonna show you how I do these expanding panels and the change inside each panel. See what I did there? I created a folder number 1 for panel number 1. I created a folder number 2 for the second panel. Now, one thing that I do is I don't use a single folder for each panel. I make a folder for each group of panels. If there's a conversation, in panel 2, I'll create a folder for each stage of the conversation. I'll show you. Here I'll create. Oh, here I created a smaller frame that I'm gonna use to the next group of panels. And what I do when I overlap panels is to do this. I create a black background and I go on opacity and I reduce it until it's still visible, the background, but you can put stuff on top of it that you won't get confused. So here, this again is as the stroke, and I will draw on this. Okay, I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna create a new layer, and if you hold Alt and click here, this layer now is attached to this one. I'm not used to the terms, but anyway, I'm gonna show you how it works. If I want to paint something, it's going to be limited by the size of the layer that's underneath. See, and I can move it around, and it's limited by this layer right here. So again, Alt. All right, wait. Phoenix is going to be right here. I'm gonna fast forward this thing so it doesn't get bored. Okay, so now that I have the final version of the scene that's gonna be showing both characters, I'm gonna make the previous ones. First of all, I'm gonna duplicate this layer. I'm gonna hide the old one. The first scene will be Felix lying on the bed like this. You won't be able to see it hard. And there's gonna be there's gonna be the 2.1. So it's gonna wake up slowly. Oh yeah, I can forget to delete this layer, otherwise at one point everything is gonna be black. Alright, so when I need to make a slight change, such as the character changing his expression, I just change the opacity of the original layer, create another one, and work on top. Hey there people, thanks for watching the video. I plan to make more in the future, so why don't you click on that red shiny subscribe button. Also, this video was about the webcomic Books and Dragons. You can check out the comic for free at booksanddragons.com. Also, this video, as well as the webcomic itself, was funded by the following patrons. Thanks guys, you're awesome. And speaking of Patreon, you can check my Patreon account to see what else you can get by donating. Again, thank you guys for supporting me. See you in the next video. Bye.